Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited to have you today. I'm going to switch up the script just a little bit and do a bit more on climbing terminology. So today I'm going to bring you the top 10 rock climbing terms to get you from maybe newbie to intermediate, or so that you can enjoy the Olympics a little bit more if you're fresh to climbing and you want to watch it, so you understand what the heck people are talking about. Let's jump into the terms in no particular order and get started. Oh, you thought I was going to have an intro there? No, I don't have intro, no. All right, let's get started. Term number one is route or problem. Basically, they mean the same thing. Route is just a little bit more specific to roped climbing, whereas problem is a little bit more specific to bouldering. But what they mean is path a climber is gonna take to complete the climb. So from bottom to the top, that's the path that they're gonna take, route or problem. Number two, send or top out. Again, they mean the same thing. People use them interchangeably. What it means is to complete the climb in a clean go. You've made it from the bottom to the top, one solid go, and you have sent the problem or topped it out. Great job. Now we're gonna get into a few of the terms on how you can send. We get a little technical here. So there's a few different ways, and one of them is called a flash. A flash is where you successfully complete the route or the problem on a first attempt after you've gotten some, advice or some information on how to complete that route. So you go from the bottom to the top in one solid go, but you do have prior knowledge of how that climb is supposed to be done. Number four, another way to send the route or the problem is by red pointing it. And red pointing is where you have successfully completed the climb, but you do again have prior knowledge, or you've worked out a bunch of the kinks in the climb. You've attempted multiple times to figure out how to complete that route or sequence. So essentially, you have practiced the route in the past, and now you've successfully completed the climb. That is red point. Number five is onsite. So onsite means that you have walked up to that climb and you have sent it, topped it out, with having no prior knowledge and no practice of that climb before. So basically, you're on boss level. Okay, now that we've run through the ways that you can send something, and I've kind of mentioned this term a few times during those, beta. That's term number six, beta. Or if you have an accent, it might be beta. I don't know what accent that is, sorry guys. So beta is basically the information on how this climb is completed. So if you have some information on the sequence, the movements, the types of holds that are involved in the climb, basically you have either been informed by another person, read about the beta, you've watched videos on it, you are aware of how the climb should be completed prior to jumping on it. Number seven, crux. The crux is the hardest part of that climb. So it's the sequence that is the toughest for you to complete. Mouth is getting dry. Need water. Mouth is getting dry. Number eight, belay. This one is pretty particular to roped climbing. A belay is a way to protect the climber from falling. You are adding something in that's going to create friction for the roped climber so that they do not fall to their death. That will mainly include things like a belay device. Popular ones you're going to hear about are the GriGri or an ATC device. So again, something that is going to help the climber or put friction on the rope so that the climber does not fall all the way down. Sounds good, right? Number nine, protection. Again, more things to help the climber not die while they are climbing. But again, roped climbing stuff. So protection is any safety equipment that's used so that the climber is putting the rope into something on their way up. It can include things like quick draws, or the anchor would be considered protection, or any trad climbing gear that you're gonna put up on the way up. So protection is to protect you. It's safety equipment. And our last term for the top 10 climbing terms is the term sandbag. I threw it in here because I love it, it's fun. What it means is that the climb is much harder than what it was graded at, or just at least harder than what it was graded at, the grade that it deserved. Sometimes this is intentional, but sometimes it's not intentional. There are many climbs out there that were graded much lower than what they should be by modern standards, but it was because the climb was put up, many decades ago, and that was the highest foreseeable difficulty at the time, but now it might not be. So watch out for those sandbag routes. And I will just sneak one more term in there and we will have a bonus term. And that bonus term is Gumby. Everybody loves a Gumby, don't we? But everybody, in all seriousness, everybody begins climbing has been a Gumby at some point in their life. Basically, it's not the nicest term, but it is a term for brand new climbers. Typically, you will recognize a Gumby by the following criteria: socks with shoes, generally not knowing what they're doing, performing unsafe things. If you look at the brand new rock climbing Barbie doll that they just put out, that Barbie doll is a Gumby. Check it out. But just to give you a little bit of a tidbit on where that term came from, Gumby sort of originated from the actual claymation character named Gumby because he was kind of a bumbling around, weird movement kind of character. So that's where that term came from. If you didn't know, maybe now you know. Alright guys, that is a wrap on the top 10 climbing terms plus a little bonus. Outside of those climbing terms, you will definitely want to get familiar with the types of holds that there are and the types of body movement involved in climbing to go from intermediate to even cooler. If you are interested in those, drop a comment below and let me know, and maybe I'll do some videos on those. I'd love to do that for you. But we will see you next week when I come back with a little bit more climbing, as I always do on Thursdays. So come back, check out the channel, and if you haven't already, do me a favor and, maybe subscribe. Boom, subscribe to the channel. You can also, like, ring the bell as well. Those are all great things to do. So come back next week and I'll see you then. Alrighty? Ciao. Does that sound okay? My mouth is so dry.